Beauty is peace. I think that beauty, if your heart is at peace, beauty's going to shine out. And beauty doesn't have to be only physical. Beauty is coming from your heart and it's going to shine through.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gouw here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Courtney Yarch, the owner of Harmonic Egg and Wellness GR in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As an egg guardian, nutritional kinesthesiologist, and integrative health coach, she has spent more than 20 years helping people improve their health and well-being through movement, nutrition, and lifestyle practices. After teaching fitness classes for 2 decades, Courtney realized something was still missing from the wellness conversation: the role of the nervous system. Today, she combines her background in holistic health with the Harmonic Egg, using light, sound, and frequency-based experiences designed to support relaxation, balance, and overall wellness. So, Courtney, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, so let's start from the very beginning. How did you first get interested in, let's call it the wellness field?
You know what? Because like a lot of people who are into the wellness field, I had my fair share of craziness growing up. I had a lot of childhood trauma, and I taught fitness classes as a way to, work through the stress and deal with it. And that actually was probably a healthier way than I could have gone. You know what I'm saying? Working out is a great way to control your stress levels. But I knew as I grew up and as I became an adult that that wasn't the only way.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught fitness classes as a great way to keep myself mentally on game, stay sharp, stay focused, and have a little bit of fun because fun matters also.
Yeah. Okay. And as part of that whole fitness, I mean, you did fitness for 2 decades, but also you're a nutritional
Mhm.
kinesthesiologist, also integrative health coach. So what led you to continue down that path of learning these different areas of overall wellness?
Well, I just knew that, you can exercise a lot and you can eat pretty clean. You can journal and you can meditate and you can do all the right things, but sometimes that's not enough, especially if you have a high stress life, a high stress job, or any sort of trauma in your background. Energy medicine, frequency medicine is definitely, I think, the way of the future, and it has been a big saving grace in my life.
Okay, well, I'm interested in learning more as we go throughout this interview together. Now, I'll talk about Harmonic Egg and Wellness GR, the your company. What led you to decide to start your own company?
It was not even on my radar. It was not on my list of things to do, but I experienced a harmonic egg for the first time in September of 2024. And I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but life changing within the first session. I was amazed. And it's not always just when you leave the session, like immediately, but there's continued effects. Like when your nervous system is balanced, life is a little bit different. And it was such a beautiful thing. I had planned to go back to this harmonic egg in a different city. I thought every month I'll go back for the rest of my life. And it was actually my husband who was like, yeah, this is amazing. We need one in Grand Rapids. So this sounds crazy, but I did it in September of 2024. He did it in October, and we opened in January of 2025. And it is a smashing success. Everyone needs some frequency healing.
Wow. Okay. So that's an incredible story of where you are now with the business. So let's dive into the meat of this. What is the harmonic egg?
All right, so I'm not sure if you can see the whole thing behind me, but it is actually, it looks like an egg. It is on, it's the long way. It's about 12 feet by 7 by 7, and it is it's built with the principles of sacred geometry. Now, that's not a religious term. That is a design or an architecture term. It's the way that it's designs that you're already going to find in nature. It's like the golden ratio.
Mm.
It's proportions that your body can recognize. Like look at the alveoli or the capillaries or the rings in a tree. These are proportions that your body recognizes. So it's all untreated wood, so it's not going to absorb any energy. It keeps bouncing the light and sound frequencies right back at you. We go through an intake form and we kind of talk about where the stress is living in your life. And with that, I choose different colors, light and sound frequency for you. Most people stay or fall asleep, but I recline your chair, get you comfy. I put a little blanket on, get you all cozy. And then it's not just relaxation. but you are able to relax. You have no cell phone, nothing in there. It's a Faraday cage, so there's no EMF in there at all. Everything is, I don't even know how that works. It's pretty magic, but there is no EMFs at all in there. And during the time, you're really relaxed. But the real magic happens, I always say, in the 4 or 5 or 6 days later. That's when the magic happens.
Mm, okay. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the light and sound that you were talking about. So with the
Yeah.
light, how does the light work? Is it kind of like different wavelengths? Is it like different colors? Like what can people kind of expect when it comes to the light?
Right. So from a color perspective, every color has different healing benefits. Red light is gonna the free. It's a lower vibration color. Purple is a higher vibration color. Purple and blue and green are my three main favorite nervous system reset colors. They're all calming without being sedating. I use green for a lot of immune support or things like when you have a lot of resentment going on or lack of forgiveness or disharmony. Blue is great for calming inflammation, which most of us are dealing with. It's great for chronic pain. It's great for calming like low or high blood pressure or high body temperature. Purple is great for all things mental. So it's great for slowing that monkey brain that runs 1,000 miles an hour. Or my artists love it because it's great for a creativity. It's also great for focus and clarity of mind. So these are the three colors I use a combination of for a first session, and sometimes the first couple sessions when a new client comes in. And then there's also speakers on either side.
Mhm.
And so there's also the sound therapy in there.
Okay. For the light part of it, when you think about light, it's okay what I can visually see, but you also a lot of your clients fall asleep in the egg. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's more of a just it being on your body is where you get the most benefit. You don't have to see the light.
Right, you do not have to. And the crazy thing is, because it's a resonant chamber, so your body's trying to resonate with the frequencies in there. So depending on what's going on with you, where the stress is living in your life, I'm going to choose different color and different sound frequencies for you. Now, most people have some sort of energy blockage. Maybe you had a scar from a sprained ankle, or maybe you have a rod in your neck, or you have TMJ. So if you have some sort of energy blockage where it's not flowing freely, most people report feeling the energy kind of tingle a little bit, or it is like a weighted blanket, or
Mm,
some people feel a lot of warmth. But when you're in the egg, you feel where the energy is stuck, and then it kind of tingles, and then it moves through. It's kind of
mm.
hard to explain, but it is pretty magical.
Yeah. Okay. Now with the sounds, how is the sounds? Is that something that is, I'm guessing it's not a screeching sound, but like, what's the kind of sound? Is it more to kind of get the right wavelengths or the vibrations, or is it like a sound that is like a little bit more, I guess, stronger or more auditory?
Well, I do have about 48 songs, I think, right now. So it really depends on what you're coming in for. For the first couple sessions, I'm always going to focus on a nervous system reset. So there's a lot of piano or cello or didgeridoo in there. Those are great songs for calming the nervous system and centering. A lot of nature sounds, like water or crickets, are also really good for calming the nervous system.
Mm,
That being said, some songs are more uplifting. Some of them have a full symphony in there. Some have, French horn and viola and the bass. A lot of them have um, more nature sounds. Some have bee vibrations in it, or
mhm.
eagles, or dolphin sounds. So really, depending on what you need. Like if you're coming in with a lot of grief, because let's be real, this is a pretty heavy world. I'm probably going to play you some cello or some harp because those are really uplifting sounds. They are good for your nervous system, for your heart, for producing some joy. If you're coming in with a weakened immune system, you might see some didgeridoo or some drums. But it's very personalized. For example, if you're a combat veteran, I'm probably not going to play you drums. I might look at playing you some didgeridoo. So there's just different ways. It's very individualized for the person. Bee vibrations are great for your immune system. But for example, if you're allergic to bees, your body would probably not react well to that. So it's very, you and I talk about what's going on before your session. We choose the light and sound, and then you get to relax.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that the light is a little bit more from a physical or physiological benefit since it's just being reflected on your body, whereas the sound is a little bit more mental because again, depends on what sounds are being played and that's going to affect your mental. Would that be fair to say?
That is fair to say. However, the light can also affect, blue is really calming. Yellow is great for joy, if you're just, if you need to be uplifted. So the colors can have emotional benefits also. But yes, I would probably say that that's a fair thing to say. Maybe sound is more emotional and color is more physical. That's fair.
Mhm. Okay. Now, you talk a lot about the nervous system reset. So, really, for people who have no idea what that is, could you define what does that mean? What is a nervous system reset?
So maybe not you, but most people are walking around with a little bit of stress in their life. It's not quite that we're being chased by zebra or lions or anything crazy anymore, but you have to answer the phone and you have that email you have to respond to and your kid's crying and your boss is yelling at you and the person in front of you can't drive and you're always in this constant go, go, go. That's sometimes that's a sympathetic nervous system state. Some people refer to it as that fight or flight. And when you're in that fight or flight, a lot of your body has to just focus on surviving. So if you're focusing on surviving, it's not going to focus on digestion. It's not going to work on blood flow as well. It's not going to work on lymphatic flow or circulation. Um, so when your body is in that fight or flight mode, no real healing happens. So whether you're doing a medical form of therapy or a talk form of therapy, nothing happens quite as well when you're always like, trying to survive. But when you're able to balance that nervous system and get out of the fight or flight mode and spend more time in the rest and digest mode or parasympathetic, everything works a little better. So I would not ever try to make a claim that we are going to cure you or heal you. I'm not trying to be a doctor there, but I'm saying if we're going to put your body in a nervous system state where it's ready to receive healing, your body knows how to heal and it knows how to receive help from your doctors, your physical therapists, your psychologists, whatever other form of wellness you're working on.
Okay. And with this treatment, it's not just to help the mental stress side of it. There's also some physical things as well, like inflammation, chronic pain. I mean, there's
Oh, sure.
the mental anxiety, but also digestion, things like that.
Yeah.
So, how does this kind of all help with these other items that you wouldn't think about? Because okay, I'm gonna be put in this pod. I'm gonna have this nice light, this nice music. Okay, mentally, I can see myself relaxing, but how does that also affect the rest of the body, the inflammation, chronic pain, digestion, like the physical parts of it?
I don't have a perfect explanation for it, but I know if you go, like when I go in there and I'm, just swollen, I've sprained my ankle way too many times because I'm a 44-year-old athlete,
Mhm.
and I go in there and you always set your intention. And so I put on some blue light if I'm dealing with chronic pain or inflammation. And it goes, I'm not saying that I'm going to go run a marathon the next day if I had a sprained ankle the week before, but it takes pain down so much. It takes inflammation down. I have clients who come in, a lot of people deal with constipation. If you're stressed out and nothing is moving, I'm probably going to put some yellow light on you, a dark golden maybe, or a bright yellow, because yellow is going to speed metabolism, which also gets things moving. It's also great for joy. Sometimes they go together.
Okay.
Um, what else? If your immune system is weak, probably some green light. If you keep getting colds and sinus infections and viruses, green light is where it's at. The nice thing is, I don't know if you can see behind you, I have a light above you and a light below.
Mm.
So I can give you two different colors depending on what's going on. Or if your nervous system is really fried and you're totally overwhelmed, I would probably put the same color above and below you. But I have 16 different colors. I have several shades of blue and a couple greens and a couple purples and pinks and yellows. I don't use white light very often and I don't use red light very often, although they both have great benefits, but they're pretty powerful and I don't want to overwhelm the nervous system. We're here to calm it down.
Got it. Now, what's I guess situations or what symptoms would people be experiencing for them to really want to come in and get the benefit from this harmonic egg? I mean, I think some people know when they're stressed and so they need something relaxing, but I'm sure there's also a lot of people that don't really realize that they're under so much stress and maybe it's manifesting in other ways. So, what would be kind of the best fit for how people can take the most benefit out of the harmonic egg?
I have been told 1,000 times that I should niche down and get really specific. But because most people in this whole world are dealing with stress, I haven't figured out who my niche super specific is. I do focus on myself for the reason I was drawn to it is with PTSD and emotional triggers like that. Things that I thought I had under control, but certain triggers would just get me and get me riled up, get my blood pressure going, and then I wouldn't sleep at night. So for me, the biggest response was all my trauma triggers I don't want to say I never even think about them anymore, but I don't respond the same way. Um, I don't want to go into all my trauma, but there are some things in everyone's life that are going to just trigger you and that kind of just make you a little bit ticked off. And when my nervous system is balanced, that's what I do. So for people who have had a lot of trauma, that's why I joined or bought a harmonic egg. For my husband, who's a business owner, also, he has projects and goals and checklists, to-do lists every single day. And for him, he notices that he can just get through his list so much better. He's more focused. He can communicate more effectively what needs to be done, get his projects done. So he and I see it for totally different reasons. Although I also have like cancer patients who come in. I'm not saying I can heal cancer. I am staying in my lane. But I do know that my chemo patients who come in, they are so much more joy filled. They're feeling more healthy. They're feeling more vibrant. Their hair's growing back faster. There are some pretty amazing things. I don't ever claim to treat, heal, or cure, but I let my clients share their testimonials on harmoniceggtestimonials.com.
Mhm.
So if you're ever curious about what the harmonic egg could do to you, you can always type in a symptom or something that you're experiencing on harmoniceggtestimonials.com. And not every time someone does a session do they type up a testimonial, but clients have sent over testimonials from all sorts of different things.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to you mentioned that when you get the treatment done, then usually you start feeling it a couple of days afterwards. But what would you recommend as far as like how long when someone does one session and then how many sessions should they be doing? And then kind of how much time in between each session should they be doing?
Okay, that was actually so many questions that I could answer in so many ways. It's kind of like if you said, how often should I get a massage? And I would say, well, shoot, if you go one time, it's definitely going to be beneficial. If you go on a more regular basis, it's going to be a lot more beneficial. Your body's going to be able to retain the results longer and see more effects. Not that this is a massage, but similar thought. If you are coming in for a specific issue like nervous system, not nervous system reset, that's too broad. But if you're coming in for tinnitus or long-term COVID or breast implant illness or Epstein-Barr virus, we have protocols that are depending on the one, 4 or 8 or 10 sessions, and we usually say come once every week or every other week for your 4 or 8 or 10 sessions. That being said, a lot of people who come just for nervous system balance, I recommend once a month is ideal. That's enough to stay consistent, keep it balanced. And once you come, each session kind of builds on the next. You're able to relax a little bit quicker, so the results last longer.
Mm,
The
okay.
hardest part to understand and explain to people is like with a massage, you leave your session and you feel pretty good and you notice the results like that day or maybe the next morning. But with the harmonic egg, everyone leaves the session relaxed. Most people sleep better that first night than they have in weeks. But the real magic happens in that 4 or 5 or 6 days later. I can't ever fix like what's happening in your life because life still happens. But when your nervous system is balanced and you don't get as triggered, it's just a lot more beautiful, peaceful world.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed this, but how long is each session? Is it kind of the same for everybody, or does that also depend?
Every session is 50 minutes, 50. So
Okay.
that's when you're in the egg. There's 40 minutes of music and then 10 minutes of silence. And the silence is actually key to the integration. It's nervous, it's sensory immersion. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's a whole lot of light and sound frequency coming at you. So for the 40 minutes you have the sound, the last 10 minutes just the lights stay on. And they don't flash or blink or strobe or anything. But the 10 minutes is beautiful. I think a lot of people get nervous before their session, like, I don't really know if I can sit there in silence for 10 minutes. And I'm like,
Mhm.
listen, there's a doorbell. You're never trapped, but just give it a try. I did have one person over the last 18 months who said it was too long. 10 minutes was too long to sit there. But everyone else has been like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could sit there for 10 minutes, but it was beautiful. Or the
Mhm.
10 minutes was my favorite part.
Mhm.
Um, but usually, at least for a first session, you got to plan on at least like 60 or 65 minutes because we have some intake forms to go through. And then afterwards, I bring you an electrolyte beverage. It's very important to stay hydrated. If we're working on frequency, light and sound frequencies, think about it like if you drop a rock into a pond and the ripples go, right? That's because the frequencies are moving. And if you don't have water, so if your cells aren't hydrated, the frequencies can't really do their job. So I always say after a session, please try to stay really hydrated for the next 5 to 7 days during that integration period.
Okay, very nice. Now, I'm sure that you've heard a lot of misconceptions or myths from either your clients or anyone else around in this industry. What would you say is some of the most common misconceptions or myths you've heard?
You know what? I live in a pretty conservative area, and I think the craziest one I've heard before is like, you know, I'm a Christian, so that seems crazy. But I'm like, this isn't a religious thing. I have PubMed articles on my website. Um, Light and sound healing is used in med centers all around. It's also used in top universities like Mayo Clinic, Notre Dame. All the big medical hospitals are also using light and sound frequency. Not necessarily the harmonic egg, but there's so many modalities as far as um, depression, anxiety. I mean, even breaking up tumors. So again, I'm not claiming to break tumors, but light and sound frequencies are used in so many ways. And it's not a religious thing. It's not a new age thing. It's not a spiritual thing. There's science behind it, which I think is a really beautiful thing. Light and sound frequency have been around for millennia.
Mhm.
Maybe not in the harmonic egg, but I mean, Aboriginals used it, Native Americans used it, Egyptians used it, Chinese used it. So civilizations that have been around a whole lot longer than the United States of America have been using this for centuries.
Wow. Okay. Now, Courtney, where do you think the future of wellness is going?
I am so glad that there is Western medicine. I'm glad for in cases where something big happens or you need a big surgery or you break your bone, I'm so glad that there is a fantastic medical system here. However, I think that for day-to-day upkeep, if people use light and sound frequency or other forms of frequency healing, I don't think they're going to need to use as many prescriptions. I don't think they're going to need to have as many doctor's appointments. I think that if people stay hydrated, use light and sound therapy, go outside and hug a tree and walk around barefoot, sit and calm and some meditate and some calm music, I think as a society we're going to be a lot healthier.
Very well said. And what's the vision you have for your business?
Right now, I just want to help as many people as I can to calm down because I'm sure that it's going to help society in general. But
Mhm.
maybe long term, I don't have the space for it now, but long term, I would love to have a big wellness hub. I would love to have more practitioners in here. I would love to have um, this be a whole wellness hub.
Mm. That'd
Not
be
quite yet, though.
awesome. Well, it's a great vision you have for it. I mean, if you want to be in the wellness space, and then I mean, wellness is more than just one thing. So,
Exactly.
but okay, well, Courtney, I do have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at harmonicegg.com.
Yeah.
Now, last question for you, Courtney. What does beauty mean to you?
Beauty is peace. I think that beauty, if your heart is at peace, beauty's going to shine out. And beauty doesn't have to be only physical. Beauty is coming from your heart and it's going to shine through.
Okay, well said. Well, there you have it. Courtney sharing her expertise. So, Courtney, where can people learn more about you and your business if they want to get some more information?
Well, my website is harmoniceggr.com. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook at harmoniceggr. And I'm on LinkedIn also. So check me out. My phone number, if you want to call me at work, is 616-970-9186. And one more thing, too. So I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I have 2 harmonic eggs here. But if you are in other countries or other states, we have harmonic eggs in 14 countries and I think like 28 states. So check out harmonicegg.com. And if you type in your zip code, you can find the closest harmonic eggs to you.
Okay, well, Courtney, this was great. Thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much. I look forward to another connection in the future.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.